OMG. Wow. Oh my God. I need a minute. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Oh my God. I have been talking to myself this entire time. I haven't been. Oh my God. I knew it. Then why didn't you say something? Oh my God. Hold on. Oh my God. Okay, I'm sorry, guys. I'm so sorry. Oh my goodness. Hey, I'm live now. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. If you guys ever see me go live for 25 minutes and there's nothing there, okay, I'm gonna need somebody to get in the comment section and be like, yo, we don't see you. We don't hear you. And it's crazy because who's this? Mike CK. He says something, and I'm thinking he's responding to what I'm saying. I'm like talking to the comments. Oh, okay. Well, I just got a. You just commented. Great minds, I guess, right? Like just wow, wow, wow. I'm like, really? There's like three people in here. This is like super weird. So, what's up, YouTube? Welcome. What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. This video is a welcome to all of the new members of the Yang Gang coming over from Senator Kamala Harris. She put up a good fight. We had some great, kind words coming out of Andrew Yang regarding her candidacy. She definitely had she started out strong. Just it just didn't work out. You know what I mean? I don't know if it's a matter of I don't know why she didn't resonate per se. I hear a lot of these pundits talking about she wasn't left enough and she didn't really understand. But honestly, I don't. I talk to people in the real world, and I'm not talking about people who are just super into politics. I'm talking regular people. They don't care about nobody like that. So I don't think that she didn't do something great. I just think that either you were excited about her from the beginning or you weren't. And maybe early on when people were just paying attention to those few big name candidates, she was one of them. But as time went on, just feel like the interest isn't there. We look at the debates, we look at the poll number, not the poll numbers, but the viewership on the debates. Those are down across the board, and we've seen now the rise and fall of Elizabeth Warren, the rise now of Pete Buttigieg, the rise and fall again, not rise and fall, but Bernie has had some up and down. Everybody's been up and down. You know what I mean? So this race is still extremely wide open. I have no idea who's going to win. And that's why I wanted to do this video, because there are people who are supporting Harris, and there's definitely some crossover between Harris and Yang. And for me, it was surprising to find out that it's actually mostly in regards to climate change. So, all right. So I did respond to your comments, man. I was like talking to you. I thought we was having dialogue, but apparently I was just talking to myself. That's okay. It is so funny because, like, literally, as I'm reading your comment, is the moment when I'm talking about um, their climate change policy. So it just the universe was against me today. So at least I've got a nice quick run through out of my system, so I kind of know where things are a little bit better. So the primary thing I'm looking at really to keep me in line here is what's up, everybody? What's up? Is this piece out of Politico? You know, they do a lot of these like comparisons. It's not like an article. They just say, hey, here's the policy, here's where everybody stands, and I will. The link is actually already up in the description. It just talks about Harris. I'm looking for things specifically that Harris and Yang have in common, and there are a few of them. But you know, this election is just weird in that there's just so many candidates, and there's just a ton of crossover with all of them. So I was surprised to find Harris and Yang having quite a bit more than I expected. Because she's such a great speaker and gives her. Let me know where that video is, Trent. I'll use it in the edited version of this video. Uh, 1 second. I need a system check for when I go live. I need help. I need a person. I need a system check. I need something more than a machine. The machine did its job. It has a button right there that says go live. Give me 1 second. How do you feel about the media grasping at straws to smear Yang like the whole whipped cream office? Oh yeah. I didn't see the media talk about that. I did see the whipped cream video this morning. It was a little bit cringy. I'm just saying. I don't know. Like I seen Zach in there like, yo, kill it. Like I don't know what was happening. It seemed a little bit weird. But, you know, I don't care if my president has a personality. That like he should. I want a person who to be president who has a personality. You know what I mean? So this is whatever they want to find to complain about. Let's see what they're talking about. Let's see what the press says or the media is saying about Yang whipped cream. Remember, we need them talking about Andrew Yang. He's not going to get a ton of earned media. His policies are superior to everybody else's. If they want to really just dismantle him as a candidate, they can definitely do that with his own words. He has plenty of words out there. He's using more words to explain his policies than anybody else. He's done more long-form interviews. He's got and long-form interviews are dangerous. There's a reason why when you see people do news or whatever, they're reading from a teleprompter. They keep it brief. They're not doing no live stream. No. You don't do that, okay? It's very risky. It only takes you to say 2 words in the wrong order for your career to be over. So Yang is out there going for an hour, 2 hours. I'm sure they could find something if they really want to, like, attack him for being a bad candidate. Talking about whipped cream or whatever is like, come on, man. I didn't see the YouTube video about crying about the shooting. Oh, the staff. Oh, they did talk about Zach pulling him away. Okay, hold on. We're going to get into this real quick since y'all brought it up. So, by the way, I'll let y'all know. So, this new thing that I'm trying to do is I need to be able to knock out these videos faster. I need to keep them segmented a lot better than I have been doing. And this is a process for me, man. I'm a filmmaker. I'm going to sit down. I set up lights, and we have sets, and we have shot lists. This is not what I do. So, I'm not used to the strict format, but I need to be very strict. So there's going to be a little bit of interaction with you guys. It's definitely going to be, I want to keep it structured. So if you guys give me something like this, and you put a link, I'm going to make it so you guys can put links in if possible. But I love that. So this is going to become a separate video. I'm trying to figure out how the big dogs do it. That's how they do it, right? They do like one long video, and then they boom, boom, boom. They chop it up into 8-minute segments, put them out, and then they just flood your timeline with video after video, which I don't love because I feel like I'll lose some substance in doing it that way, but at the same time, I got to keep up. So let's get in. Mr. Jermison, you like my channel? Appreciate you. So let's get into this piece out of the Rolling Stone. Many of you guys may have seen this video. Let's see if we can find it real quick. There is a video of Andrew Yang putting whipped cream into the mouth of, I guess, not a staffer, but somebody at the opening of his latest office. Whipped cream. Let's see if we can find it. Is there sound? Oh, yeah, here it is. So that's the video. Like I said, I had no context. Literally, this video just popped up on my Twitter. I'm like, okay, cringy, but not. He's not electable, kind of thing. Just all right, whatever. Again, this is what happens. If you have a camera in front of your face this much, you're gonna say something. If you criticize people who have cameras in front of their face this much as a guy who's running for president, then you're gonna. You just got to understand that it's not gonna be perfect, man. Nobody's life is perfect. It's hard. It's a lot easier to take an Instagram photo and then go back to life than it is to walk around with a camera. So, what are they saying here? Rolling Stone. Andrew Yang's staff pulls him back from spraying whipped cream into mouths of kneeling supporters. Doesn't that sound so much different than the video? Like, first of all, when they say his staff, that comes off like it's plural. You know what I mean? But it's just one guy. It's just Zach, right? He pulls him back from spraying whipped cream into the mouths of kneeling supporters. Again, sounds like there's just hundreds of teenage girls sitting there like it's a wet t-shirt contest. No, it's just a couple of dudes celebrating a moment. It's not that serious. Again, I don't care if my president has a personality as long as he got good policies, but that's just me. I'm just a substantial kind of guy. Some of y'all like that fluff. Andrew Yang is not your conventional presidential candidate, which is a large part of why the former tech executive who built his campaign around a promise to give every American $1,000 a month has been able to maintain momentum, keep raising money, and find himself polling better than all but a handful of Democratic 2020 contenders. So, while low polling candidates are dropping out of the race, Yang is gearing up for primary season. On Tuesday, he opened a new office in Manchester, New Hampshire, which will hold its primary on February 11th. We're growing and growing. We're in a peak at the right time, Yang said. When other campaigns are scaling back and shrinking, we are hiring and expanding. Yang proceeded to celebrate by shaking up a can of whipped cream and spraying it into the mouths of a kneeling supporter wearing a math hat. The office opening is complete, he said. Another supporter, also wearing a math hat, then took a knee. Yeah, Yang said as he sprayed more whipped cream. Unfortunately, his campaign manager quickly stepped in and pulled the candidate away from the situation. Wait, why does it say unfortunately? What? Yang's campaign immediately responded to a request to clarify whether whipped cream came from him or if pie was involved. All right, well that's kind of funny. I'm not mad about this. What's the complaint? Who's complaining? Let's see. Because it doesn't look like anyone's complaining. And as I said, all right, Yang is not going to win this thing being traditional. It's not going to happen. He's not going to be the best politician. He cannot get up there and give the regular stump speech and hold his hand. That's not going to win him nothing, all right? He ain't got a chance doing that. He got to be himself. He's got to be a regular dude. And if he can't win being a regular dude, then fine. But he has no chance trying to compete with everybody else doing the regular politician thing. That ain't gonna work. So if I can get Rolling Stone, BBC, New York Post, AOL.com, Insider, I don't even know who half these periodicals are. The Hill talks about it, of course. Atlanta Journal. I mean, yo, this is not a problem for me, okay? They're talking about my guy. They're mentioning UBI. And we have to consider that Yang is already being blacked out at MSNBC, which is a huge outlet, right? I mean, he's getting more love from Fox News than he is from CNN. So if this is what it takes to get his message out, I got no problem with this. Yang should be getting articles like this written about him. It's not a substantial argument as Yang, but it gets him in the public eye. Absolutely. Yeah. What about there was a threat for Yang? I don't know about this threat. Give me 1 second. I mean, I think that kind of comes along with the territory, though. I don't think that's wildly uncharacteristic. They contacted the FBI over threats. I mean, look, man, if you decide to run for president, you bet.
Businessman Andrew Yang's presidential campaign has contacted the FBI.
Yeah, if you run for president, I imagine this is the kind of thing that's going to happen. I mean, that's just the reality. You know what I mean? Is anything going to come from it? Probably not. But I hate to say this because this is like so out of characteristic for me. Um, so I don't think I'm going to say that, but it's kind of like, again, if they're talking about him, why? Why would somebody feel that they need to take it that far? Why would, I mean, honestly, just even making that kind of a joke is like serious business. So I don't know why you would even ever do that, but I'm not concerned. So they're via email regarding the candidate specific public events due to specific information contained by emails. Out of the abundance of caution, we've immediately contacted the FBI and local law enforcement and have been working with them. I'm sorry, I'm keeping words out. It's because of YouTube. But I will go ahead and put this in here if you guys are interested in checking it out for yourselves. But you guys know I can't say certain things, but we know what we're talking about. He successfully outlasted multiple government. Yeah. So, yeah. He's just being cautious, man. He's just doing what he's supposed to do. This is what you're supposed to do. You got to tell somebody. Yeah. Yeah, man. Remember, that's what people loved about Trump, man. He's not a regular candidate. All right. It was never. Again, the Trump video is coming. It's coming. It's just there's honestly, they purged all of 2016. Like, that footage does not exist anymore. But we're gonna break down Trump's media from 2016 because I think it will really be eye opening. Because I don't know, man. He's just not a regular dude. So, like I said, let's hop back in here. We're talking about Harris Yang crossover. What's similar, right? Like, why would a Harris supporter be looking at joining the Yang gang? People worry about China censoring me. The first thing I'm going to point to is nuclear power. That's right, nuclear, right? Because we're talking about climate change. Because for some reason, Harris and Yang, a little bit of crossover. Now, again, this is back to Politico. Her position is she wants to support new nuclear technologies as part of an effort to fight climate change. Specifically, what I want you to get from this is that there's Jay Inslee and Joe Biden who are also supporting this same kind of rhetoric. She's talking about the new smaller reactors. They've been used for the past decades. Typical nuclear reactors at a power plant may introduce 1,000 megawatts of power, enough to power 1 million homes. But the new reactors, called small modular reactors, that the Energy Department's national labs are helping to develop, would produce 50 to 100 megawatts. Well, Yang, while not necessarily supporting those specific reactors, of course, if you're familiar with Yang, you know that he's talking about thorium. Let's see. Sorry, I lost some of these links because I already went through this presentation one time. I closed some of these windows out. Give me 1 second. And this is going to be more of a crash course than anything. I'm not going to go in depth. You guys know this stuff, but for the future Yang gang who comes after us, who needs that introduction to Andrew, they need this. So while Yang does not necessarily support these newer reactors that Harris is talking about, Yang is looking at doing something with thorium, okay? He wants to invest $50 billion to research and development for thorium-based molten salt reactors and nuclear fusion reactors to provide green energy source for Americans. Engage in public relations campaign to update the reputation of nuclear reactors. Again, I always say I love the way Yang thinks. I'm going to keep putting that preface in there every time I say it because he throws in that media campaign because it's important. You know, we really have to get people thinking beyond what we think of when we hear nuclear, which is probably like Chernobyl or something. So we got to get them seeing nuclear as a positive thing. And there's a reason why other candidates outside of, or no other candidates other than Biden, Inslee, and Yang, well, there's a couple of them, but most candidates are not supporting nuclear power at all because it just knee-jerk reaction. Imagine if Bernie had gone on a media campaign, a public relations campaign prior to running as a Democratic Socialist. Bomb dropped. Just saying. Helps. Plans to start breaking ground on a new safe thorium-based molten salt nuclear reactors by 2027. Vox did a piece about Harris coming close to having a UBI plan. Seems like she's open to it. Well, we're gonna get. That's where we're gonna end this video. We're gonna end it on Harris and her tax credit, which has many. Man, I was really nailing it the last time. But that's where we're gonna end because that's like the biggest crossover between the two. But yeah, so nuclear power again. If you're into climate change, if climate change is the reason why you're supporting Harris, you're gonna find that. Yang and Harris, there's quite a bit as far as the logic that they use to determine what makes sense with in regards to climate change. And the next thing takes that to the next level, which is farming and climate change. And more specifically, as you guys may remember from the climate change town hall, the conversation about what are they called? Drawing a blank. What was it? Oh my god! I just draw the biggest blank. Oh my god! I'm really drawing a blank. What is it? Holy! Oh, wow! Eating meat. Okay, 1 second. Where is it? Okay, so Harris has done this one other time, right? Let's talk about this. Okay, let's talk about this real quick. Endorsed urging Americans to eat less meat as they combat climate change. A handful of Democratic candidates have discussed how individual choices help improve the environment, whether it's giving up plastic straws or shifting to renewable energy sources. Some have even been pressed about whether Americans should change their eating habits. There are only two candidates who are with this, by the way. One of them is Andrew J. The other is Harris. Meat, especially beef, I need to ask Andrew his middle name, by the way. Meat, especially beef, should be associated with having a relatively high carbon footprint compared with other sources of protein that has led to environmentalists to urge people to reduce their consumption. Some of the candidates, including Senator Harris and Yang, have said they support telling people to eat less meat for environmental reasons. Senator Cory Booker, a vegan, has said he does not support urging Americans to adopt his diet. Now, this is one of those divisive things where, look, you got to have a position. I understand why Booker is saying what he's saying. He doesn't want to tell people what to do, and that's kind of the American way. Like, we're like, it's freedom of speech. You can do what you want to do. But at the same time, we have examples like in California where there's no plastic bags and you got to bring your own bag to the store. Like, that is kind of crazy. But at the same time, they had a reason why they wanted to do it. They implemented it, and now that's just normal. Actually, give me 1 second. California plastic bag ban. Oh man, I just pulled an awful article. Hold on, let's see. Sorry, I didn't look this up in my prior. Okay, so this is the single-use carry-out ban, SB 270 from 2016. It is in effect in most grocery stores, retail stores with a pharmacy, convenience store, food marts, liquor stores will no longer be able to provide single-use plastic carry-out bags to their customers. Instead, these stores may provide a reusable grocery bag or recycled paper bag to a customer at the point of sale at a charge of at least 10 cents. So, for us non-Californians, this probably just sounds crazy. Like, what do you mean they don't have plastic? But no, they ain't got no plastic bags, man. They don't have single-use bags. So if the government steps in because they feel they need to do something to change a specific behavior to encourage that, then so be it. We've talked about the book. I think the book is called Nudge. How placement of specific items on like a buffet line when you're serving, lunches to kids will encourage them to make healthy choices. Like, I don't have a problem with my president stepping in and saying, look, human behavior is to do this. and we need to get people to do this. So maybe we should push them in the right direction through making it more difficult to do something. Like maybe the answer to getting people to get off of meat is to make meat more expensive. That's going to have that same effect. It's just over time, people just reduce the amount of consumption of meat if it costs more money. That's just the way it is. So it just depends on what kind of guy you want running your country. You know what I mean? You want somebody who's going to sit back and let something be the way it is because you don't want to upset people, or you want somebody who's going to step up and say, look, this is for the good of the world. This isn't even about a you or me thing. This is the world. This is what has to happen. So I want a leader. Sorry, I don't know what to tell you. Do I eat meat? Sure. Would I eat less meat if it meant my son could have a world that he can actually live in and clean air later on? Yeah, I think I can make that sacrifice. Sorry. In Jamaica, they banned single-use plastic straws also. Really? I didn't know that. I haven't been to Jamaica in a couple of years. I need to get back. My favorite food in the world. Dude, you're literally saying what Bloomberg says. Am I? What does Bloomberg say? Hold on. Let's see. He made big gulps illegal because he was worried about people getting fat. Yeah, you know what? See, look, I ain't say nothing about that. But if you had asked me, I'd have been like, hey, okay, I'm about to get in trouble. This is why I can't run for office, right? In Oklahoma, I'm not from Oklahoma, right? So growing up, I never saw people, like I would see those when you go to the gas station, they have the big drink dispensers. I never saw people actually drink those. I moved down here, and literally every morning when I would go to the office, people would walk in with one of those big gulps, like the big 64-ounce joints of drink every single day. Like it's super common. People drive, they stop, they go in there, they get a drink and come back out. Obviously, somebody is keeping that thing in business, so it's not just an Oklahoma thing, but I just never seen it like that. I didn't realize that people really drink like that. Like I always hear people say, soda is really bad for you and there's so much sugar in it. Never really saw it. Got down here, I see it. I get it. And if you got to make it illegal or whatever, I mean, what you want me to do, man? What you want me to do? I'm supposed to just let you kill yourself because that's what you want to do? All right. I don't know. I can't be president. I'm sorry. I'm not running for office, so I'm going to say what I got to say. Where will the cows go if we ban meat? I'm sure we can find something to do with them. Bloomberg's going to tax the poor out of poverty if he gets in office. Oh, man. Oh, what's up, John? I want to go back to the whipped cream. I think Bill Clinton put something worse than some. Oh, Gilly, come on, man. Don't make me read it. If you're going to say something egregious, you got to set it up so I know not to read this thing out loud. But yeah, so that's just a California thing. If you are familiar, great. If not, then just throwing that out there. But we saw Harris do the same thing when it came to Twitter. She was talking about. Well, we hear Andrew Yang often talk about how we talk about Trump or losing. He's right. We looked at earned media from 2016. We saw that Trump received over $2 billion in free media and had a super small ad buy, but was able to become president essentially because the government or because the media could not get enough of covering every little thing that he did. Well, when Harris comes out and says that we should ban him from Twitter, that might not be the right thing to say because you're talking about infringing on someone's freedom of speech, but at the same time, it kind of would help to solve a big problem. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Look, my job is not to be politically correct. I'm just telling you the facts. There is crossover. I like the way that Harris thinks in this regard. Look, I didn't even have this covered because I don't really dislike Harris like that. I just feel like she's disingenuous. But she's not a horrible person, and maybe she's just making a lot of these proposals, or she didn't have a horrible platform. I don't know about her, the lady. She's still a prosecutor. But she had a lot of knee-jerk policies. Honestly, some of them I liked. What was it? What was her thing? Harris, the busing. So she had this thing that she proposed just randomly the other day. What was it? Or she reignited the battle over busing. What was it? No, not that one. She had something else. Wait a minute. Sorry, this is not something that I had originally covered in the. Oh yeah. She proposed more school. That's what it was. So this is in November, November 6th, right? Things going down is not going well for her, and she's trying to get, she's trying to say something to get some coverage, and she comes out and she said, "The school day is 2 hours shorter than the work day." Kamala Harris wants to change that. This is a headline from Mother Jones. So, one second. Again, I didn't read this article, but I know I'm just trying to find what. The pilot schools would be studied for best practices to enable a results-driven expansion of the program. We're told that Harris is framing the proposal as one that encourages economic growth, encourages more women to stay in the workforce, and child development. We talked about how Yang did not support. He doesn't support free childcare, but he also wanted to expand when he wanted to make children start going to school at age 3. Well, this is kind of a little bit kind of the same logic. You know what I mean? Yang is like, look, or Harris is saying, okay, well, we have this issue with this discrepancy with childcare. Why don't we make school days longer? Obviously, we need to make some improvements in schools, but if we're making improvements in schools in certain regards and we also increase the school day, that kind of solves some problems for some parents. Now, I get it. Maybe some of you just want to be with your kids more often, more frequently, or for a longer period of time. Have at it. I got a kid. I could use a break every once in a while. I'm just saying. So I didn't hate this. It just seemed disingenuous because she waited so long to do it. This is kind of the thing. Like, maybe she wanted to propose this early on, but she was afraid that it would be too divisive, so she kept it to herself. Like, I don't want somebody who's not a leader. I want somebody who does what they think is right up front rather than react because they're falling in the polls. So have shorter work week solution to child care. Colin, I like the way you think. Listen, they shorten work weeks, increase wages. There's a couple things they can get me back out in the workforce. Trust me. Korean schools close at 9 p.m. Whoa, I didn't know that. How about we make work short? you guys are looking for the other way out. We need shorter work days, more holidays. You know what? More holidays. I'm glad you mentioned that because Yang and Harris are also supporting paid leave. She wants to give. I forgot this in the original thing as well. Oh, maybe it's good that you guys showed up. Hold on. What is it? Let's see. She had paid leave. Of course, Bernie Sanders is in there. She released a proposal guaranteeing up to 6 months of paid family medical leave. Under her plan, workers who make less than $75,000 a year would qualify for full wage replacement. Ooh. Listen, I never said she didn't have no good ideas. I said she don't seem genuine. That don't mean she got some. She don't say the right thing every once in a while. Workers could also take leave for personal, family, medical issues in addition to a variety of other situations. Entrepreneur Andrew Yang calls for at least 9 months, because Yang goes further. It's kind of a... I should throw that in there. Entrepreneur Yang calls for at least 9 months of paid parental leave per couple and at least 6 months for a single parent. Is there an ant on my microphone? While his platform includes a mandatory vacation policy to allow workers to take time away from their jobs. Mandatory vacation. In Yang's mandatory vacation, advocate a minimum leave policy of 4 weeks each year for full-time workers with an exemption of new companies less than 9-year-old and small companies with fewer than 50 employees. Contractors would be given the equivalent of 40 hours per week, should be entitled to one paid week off and for every 13 weeks they work for a given company. Huh. Now that's interesting. Speaking of, so one of the questions that I have for Yang, I don't know if he's going to cover it, but it's about contractors specifically, contractors, gig workers, temporary work. Like he talks about temporary work quite a bit, and I'm really intrigued to know what he's doing to target these specific sectors because I feel like they're just made for him. And this is one of those things I don't see. His man has so much. He has so many policies here, but you're offering a paid week off for every 13 weeks they work for a given company for contractors. That's going to combat some of the issues that we're having right now where companies are like, we're going to have all these gig workers because we don't want to pay them. Well, if we're going to have to give them some benefits anyway, then maybe that'll get somebody else a full-time job or, um, like you're not just being taken advantage of because you get some flexibility. I get to see Yang tomorrow. Me too, Dylan. China has it as well. China has everything. I think they're trying to convince us that China's a terrible place. I feel like I need to go myself and do some investigation. China is on the path. China wants to be number one in AI by 2030. I might have to. I might have to consider my options. Oh, you're in Singapore. Oh wow. All right, I'm gonna come check on you. Should Yang have police reform to combat police shootings? See, Steve, I agree with you, but I think the problem, and this is why I did not propose that question specifically. Um, I think that a lot of that police stuff is going to have to be done at the local level. I don't think that Yang can do anything at the executive level other than like training, funding. I don't think he can actually do something specifically to if I practice my hello nerds. Yeah, I don't think he can do anything specifically to do anything regarding the police reform. Because I was looking at Bernie's page, I was looking at everybody else's. Nobody's really saying some huge change to police reform. Like it's just not there because I don't think they can do much. Appoint a foreign policy. Right? Oh, I'm sure he will. Asking about police brutality, he should stress body cam. Yeah, yeah. Well, he can't make them mandatory. See, that's what leads me off. That Yang can't make all he can do regarding with regards to body cams is provide the funds. He can't make police departments use them, and that's what he said. So that led me to believe that asking him any additional questions about police was going to kind of yield that same kind of response, and that he can provide funds, but he can't make them do something. It's going to have to be done at the local level. So I didn't want to push it. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, tomorrow's the day. Da, da, da. Would I interview Yembi Arts on housing? He talked with Yang about Zen. Oh, did he? Yo, appreciate you. I'll do that. Let me go ahead and copy your comment. Is it? I'm gonna have to check that out. If there's a video on it. This is what I mean, man. Yang literally has too much content out, man. Yang is the Gary V of this campaign. He's got too much content. I cannot keep up with it all. Let me see. Lots of evidence that long hours are counterproductive. I feel you. Look, just because they're in the school building, then that doesn't mean they have to do school activities. They can find something else to do. Maybe they can take those extra 2 hours to invest in their vocational training. What am I doing? A one-on-one with Paget, PSP, or Nurse VA? I don't know, man. Don't nobody rock with me like that. I'm just out here on the island. I just do my videos. Like I'm just glad y'all show up. I mean, we all keep talking about it, but then it never happens. So I mean, I don't know. Oh, he's an expert on the housing crisis in California. Okay, yeah, yeah. I mean, he be laying it out, man. That guy be laying it out. I definitely feel like I'm in O Kim when I'm sitting there watching his videos. I haven't watched in a while, but admittedly, I'm gonna check him out. Have I prepared my questions? Yes, my questions were submitted yesterday. My questions went in yesterday. Okay, so we talked about Harris on banning president. We talked about thorium. We talked about more school, which isn't really one of my things, but just, you know, I don't hate it. I'm just saying. Oh, he follows me? Okay, yeah, let him know. I'm down, for real. I'd love to because he probably has a lot of the questions. He has. I had one of my questions to Yang is about zoning specifically, so maybe he already knows the answer. Like I said, I don't think that I know everything, and I know that Yang puts out so much content I literally cannot keep up. I would have to just sit there and watch his videos all day, every day. Um, will there be a live chat? I don't think it's going to be live because the communication I received says recorded, but that could mean recorded live. I don't know. How do I feel about injection sites? I think they're fine. I am a realist, okay? I'm a realist. So I don't like listen, I'm not regular. All right. I wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and I get to work. I'm that's not and I have a family, they don't do the same thing. Like my family comes in 3, 4 hours later. I've done a whole day of work when by the time they wake up. So for me to impose what I do on everybody else is kind of silly. So like that kind of drives a lot of the way I think about things. So if I want to make them do a certain thing, if I want to encourage a specific behavior, I have to create incentives around it. I have to do a little bit of manipulation. I think a logical conversation is a waste of my time, but that's just me. Like I'm just letting you know, like that's how I am. If I was your president, you best believe if I thought that there was a good way to do something, I might not tell you about it. I would just coerce you into it because that's the right thing. But I mean, I don't know. That's hopefully I do my research. You know what I mean? Maybe I get something wrong, but safe injection sites is obviously you're going to be like, oh no, but you're encouraging drug use. Like, yeah, but they're going to use the drugs anyways. So I don't know. Like maybe that would be better than letting them do what they're doing currently. Sue is from Thailand. I have a small IT consulting company for the federal government in Washington D.C. I will send you my questions. Sue, why did you wait until now? I had to get those questions in by Tuesday. But you know what? Send them anyway because I'm going to be in Dallas tomorrow. So maybe I'll be at the thing at night and I'll maybe get a question in. How does my wife and kids feel about Yang? I'm a man. Uh, and I think statistically, women kind of vote the way their husbands vote. So she's on board. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. She, my wife is kind of like not really political. I'm not really super political. Um, I just like we have a president who's talking about something tangible that people can see. $1,000 a month. It isn't necessarily even that it's the greatest thing ever. It's just like, wow, I can see a president who did something. And I'll always remember every single month that the president made that happen. Like, that's going to have a huge psychological effect on the way people view their government, which is going to be super important when we start talking about, hey, the government needs to have 100% access to your data because we got to really ramp up for this China thing. It's going to be a problem. If the government were to come to us right now and say, hey, we want to ramp up for 5G and we need to be able to do some major data collection in order to make sure we're predicting things accurately, people are going to look at them crazy like, no, we're not going to give you our information. Like, we don't want you to do that now. And you're already doing it. So if you need us to sign a waiver, we're going to tell you no. We're going to have that conversation at some point. So it's in our best interest that we start getting the government in a position where they can get some people trusting them because we don't trust the media. Government lets us down most of the time. So, I mean, it is what it is. Am I worried about my kid's future without Yang? Nah. See, you know, when you're the child of an immigrant, moving doesn't seem crazy. Like I tell people, I've moved around the country a little bit. My family's not from America. So the idea of picking up and moving don't sound crazy at all. Like we some go getters. We'll make it happen. I got family around the world. I mean, do I worry? Yeah. Like I said, I don't think America is going to collapse. I just think we won't be number one. I don't know what that means to be number three. I don't know what it means to be number five. Like, I've only known America as this beacon of freedom and hope and the light. Like, I don't know anything else. So when my mom came here, she didn't come here to join the number three country in the world. You know what I mean? So it's going to be interesting. But I'm always a little upset with my mother that I don't have a British accent. It's like I could have had a British accent. That'd have been kind of cool, you know what I mean? But it is what it is. I don't hate AOC. I understand you don't hate AOC, and I don't hate anybody. But if ever there was a person who I dislike, I mean, she's not terrible. I just don't like her. I don't like her, and she makes me feel like I can be president of the United States because I feel like that woman doesn't know anything. So I think she just says stuff. I think that people are manipulating her. I don't think she even understands the concepts of some of the things that she says sometimes. And I am very confused by why so many people rally behind her. Like, I don't get it. I mean, just because she's pretty, is that what we're talking about? 'Cause she's pretty, all right, whatever. Like, I'm gonna need you to think a little bit deeper than that. She says a lot of wild stuff. We're number three, exactly. That's gonna be us. We're number three. Hold up them big three signs. AOC she's I don't want to say it like in a bad way, but she's like a tool. Like she's not. You can't have the guy at the top doing certain things. You know what I mean? So you got to have people in different positions to take certain hits for you, and that's what she is. She's like a little goon out there. Hold on. But if I found out she had a earpiece in 24/7, I would not be surprised. Hello? What time? Okay. All right. All right, bye. AOC is not going to sell out because she has nothing to sell out. She's already sold out. AOC came out of nowhere. I find it hard to believe that she was sitting in her home crafting this political future for herself. I think somebody picked her. They tapped her on the shoulder. They said, "Hey, we got some talking points for you. We can make this happen for you. I can change your life, but you got to trust me." And she was like, "Yo, where do I sign up?" And again, just because I'm wearing the button-down shirt, I have not sold out yet, but the offers are coming in. No, I'm just kidding. Let's see. So I don't know if I covered this. So the next thing I want to talk about real quick, I gotta hurry up and get out of here, is rural broadband. Again, I don't know why you're supporting Harris, but she has these. She wants to put $80 billion in and to invest in making sure broadband reaches all of these rural parts of America. We've seen what broadband has created, the possibilities for everywhere else. You know what I mean? There was a time where we were all on dial-up. Internet was pretty much useless. Broadband completely changed the game. And that's one of Harris's proposals. Interestingly, I don't know why specifically she's interested in this, but I love it. Now, Yang does not have it listed on his policy page, but he did put out this tweet in June of 2018, which says, "One thing we should do pronto, wire rural areas with broadband with some federal incentives. We can get it up to 99.8% without undue difficulty and expense." Now, I believe that he doesn't feel he needs to put it on his policy page because he has he knows where he can find funds in order to make this happen. And there's been a couple of situations where he's done this where I don't have a policy page to reference, but I like the fact that he's speaking on these things. I like the way he thinks again, and given that everything he says is fairly consistent, I think it's genuine. You know what I mean? So while his policy page doesn't say it sounds like he definitely also supports the efforts to make broadband more accessible to more Americans. And again, when you have broadband and then you have a more informed public because you're putting all this money into press and then you're putting a little bit of money in their pocket every single month, that trust factor is going to go up real quick. And again, as we just talked, trust is going to be really important in the next 5-10 years. So what was the other? Broadband, I think. Okay, and the final one. The final one. What's the holdup on qualifying for the Democratic debates? I think Yang has to hit 4% one more time, and he has not done that yet. Listen, when I get that trip to Japan or Korea, I'll take Korea. I'll make a nice, beautiful documentary on why Andrew Yang is the president for today. But hopefully it's not too late. I haven't been to Asia in like 9 years. I imagine things are radically different now. So the final thing I want to talk about is going to be tax credits. Now, specifically, we all know Andrew Yang. He's the Asian guy who wants to give everybody $1,000 a month. And, there was a little bit of a dust up between Yang and Harris about how this was going, how Harris's, what does she call it? What does she call her thing? LIFT, the Livable Incomes for Families Today, the Middle Class Act. She wants to provide a tax credit which would match up to $3,000 of earnings for single people and $6,000 for married couples who are at least 18 years old. Students receive Pell Grants with qualifying, unlike other credits designed to reward work, including the Earned Income Tax Credit. The new tax would deliver substantial benefits to workers without children at home, which, like the Freedom Dividend, is going to mean it's for everybody, even without kids. I remember being a young single person, being frustrated seeing all my coworkers getting these tax refunds, and because they had kids, they were getting paid, and because I waited forever to have kids, I didn't get no money. I'm salty, but we're gonna fix that. You know what I mean? Also, importantly, recipients would also be able to choose to take the credit monthly and not wait until tax filing season. Also, similar to the Freedom Dividend, we're talking monthly payments. This is huge. The new tax credit will be given in addition to any earned income tax credit the families qualify for. And then the final piece on that I want to talk about is down here where I think it's the funding. The plan would no doubt be expensive. Harris suggests paying it with a fee on some financial institutions by repealing the parts of the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act that do not provide tax relief to families with incomes less than $100,000. It's true that the current EITC lifts more wage-working people out of poverty than any other government program, but that credit leaves out many people. Senator Harris's version would lift more people out of poverty. Well, let's take it a step further, give it to every American over 18, and let's call it the Freedom Dividend, presented to you by Andrew Yang. If the Earned Income Tax Credit has lifted more people out of poverty than anything else, then the Freedom Dividend is going to do even more. So it's a no-brainer that if this is the reason you're looking to support, or you were looking to support Harris, the next best thing, it's really the best thing, but now that it's not a choice anymore, Andrew Yang. Andrew Yang is your guy, okay? We're talking $1,000 a month. Every American over 18, and the funding portion specifically, she's talking about tax cuts and job acts. Why not just use what we already know? Why don't we just do this value added tax and call it a day? You know what I mean? In addition, in the climate of an Andrew Yang presidency, you're talking about having Medicare for all. You're talking about this additional time off or this family leave, like scorecard, $1,000 or $100 in democracy dollars to put towards the candidate of your choice, a more informed people, a more engaged just a new way of thinking, a new way of life, restoring our capitalism to a place where everybody can prosper. Capitalism where everything doesn't start at zero. Um, Andrew Yang is the way forward. Harris fought valiantly. Like I said, I'm not gonna knock her. Listen, just 'cause I think because she's insincere, it doesn't mean that she doesn't have good policies. I've given her a couple of points here today. I think she said a lot of things right. I don't necessarily support everything that she said, but again, the way you think matters a lot to me because there's going to be things that me, as a regular American who's out here living, is not thinking about. And you're going to have the data before me. You're going to have the studies before me. And I need you to step up on my behalf and say, this is what's best for Aaron. So if you can't get Harris, I suggest you take a look at Yang. So with that said, I'm going to get out of here. I got to do lunch with the wife. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm going to get it condensed up, sliced, diced all the way. Probably start off with that first video we talked about on the whipped cream. I thought that was just interesting. Let me know what you guys think on everything we talked about today. Yeah, look into Yang. He's your guy. Dallas, I'll see you tomorrow. If you guys like this video, make sure you hit that like, subscribe for more, and I will see you guys in the next one. God bless America. I just play. I just started. Sorry.